The forbidden number. The forbidden conversation. Beijing tried to erase it and turned it into a global firestorm. This is the kind of explosive truth the platforms don't want you to see. Welcome back to Final War with Katherine Hu. Tonight's episode is different, highly sensitive, the kind of truth both Beijing's state media and the very platform you're watching right now have tried to bury. So if you've made it here, I'm glad you found us. Stay with me until the end. And when you do, share this story. Because that's how the truth survives. There's an old Chinese proverb, "No 300 tales of silver buried here." It comes from a folk tale. A man named Zhang San buried his silver in the ground, afraid it might be stolen. To calm his nerves, he posted a sign, "No 300 tales of silver buried here." His neighbor, Wang Er, saw the sign, dug up the treasure, and even left a note. Your neighbor, Wang Er, didn't steal it. Since then, the phrase has meant one thing. The clumsier the cover-up, the clearer the truth becomes. And that is exactly what just played out. Beijing's mouthpiece, CCTV, turned what should have been a carefully buried secret into one of the biggest PR failure of 2025. A desperate cover-up that backfired, driving the story straight into global headlines. Let's break it down. How did their so-called crisis PR unfold? What was the crisis they feared? And above all, what truth were they so desperate to conceal? For the sake of this program's survival on this platform, I'll make one adjustment. On screen, you'll see the words. But in my narration, I'll use the phrase special operation. On September 6, 2025, one of the world's most influential news agencies, Reuters, ran a curious headline. Reuters withdraws Xi Putin longevity video after China state TV pulls legal permission to use it. What was this about? At its core, a clumsy hot mic incident between Reuters and the CCP's propaganda arm, CCTV. Reuters explained it this way.
Reuters News withdrew a 4-minute video containing an exchange between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping, discussing the possibility that humans can live to 150 years old, after China state TV demanded its removal and withdrew the legal permission to use it.
In other words, state TV ordered the removal of a 4-minute clip. Reuters then explained how they handled the situation.
Reuters removed the video from its website and issued a kill order to its clients on Friday, after receiving a written request from CCTV's lawyer.
But when CCTV accused Reuters of misrepresentation, claiming,
"The editorial treatment applied to this material has resulted in a clear misrepresentation of the facts and statements contained within the licensed feed,"
Reuters hit back firmly.
"We have carefully reviewed the published footage, and we have found no reason to believe Reuters' long-standing commitment to accurate, unbiased journalism has been compromised."
So yes, this was Reuters' own crisis PR effort. But here's the twist. CCTV's demand was also crisis PR, and when the two collided, it didn't bury the story. It detonated it, spreading the very clip Beijing wanted erased into global headlines. it wasn't just international media picking up the story. Inside China's Great Firewall, people also began to notice something unusual, and they started searching for answers. According to the Liberty Times, a private exchange between Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin had leaked. In it, they casually discussed Project A and even the dream of immortality. Xi went so far as to joke that people might live to 150 years old. Beijing censors immediately tried to stamp it out, but some Chinese netizens climbed the firewall, brought the information back and spread it online. Within just one day, searches for 150 on WeChat skyrocketed over 3.36 million hits. On September 3rd alone, the WeChat index for 150 spiked by an astonishing 9,650%, compared with the same day the previous month. That's a 96-fold increase. So ask yourself, what exactly was in this video? Why did it spread so wildly, so quickly? And why did CCTV forget the old proverb about no 300 tales of silver buried here? Here's the clip itself. The original Associated Press footage with English subtitles. Watch carefully.
On the sidelines of the high-profile meeting of several world leaders, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping were overheard talking about advances in the science of human lifespans. The brief exchange was caught during a live news video feed of Xi and Putin as they walked with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Their words were inaudible, but their translator, still on mic, can be heard detailing parts of their conversation. The meeting between the leaders took place as Xi presided over a parade to mark the 80th anniversary of World War II, with the video provided by the parade's media centre to international news agencies, including the Associated Press.
Now, after watching that clip, you can see it clearly. Two of the world's most powerful leaders casually confirming to the entire world what had long been banned, silenced, and dismissed. A state-backed secret program at the heart of the CCP. They spoke of it lightly, almost jokingly, like a trip to the gym. And it revealed something chilling. That the path to longevity for China's ruling elite depends on these special operations. Their goal? To keep repeating them again and again until they can stretch life to 150 years. And here's where CCTV's crisis PR collapsed completely. Ordinarily, a video like this might circulate briefly and then be buried by the next news cycle. But by demanding its removal, by forcing Reuters into public statements, CCTV guaranteed a second wave of global attention. Even if the official footage gets deleted, people will only spread it further. The attempt to suppress it ensures it spreads faster, wider, and becomes viral. So yes, CCTV's crisis management deserves an award. Not for success, but as the PR disaster of the year 2025. And that leaves us with a question. Behind this sensitive conversation, this sensitive number, this sensitive topic, what secret was so threatening that CCTV panicked? So So what exactly was CCTV trying so hard to bury? At the center of this panic lies a chain that has been hidden for more than 20 years. An entire industry directly tied to what we'll call here the special operation. For a brief moment, this secret surfaced in public view. It was known as the 981 Chief Health Project. Its stated mission was simple but shocking: to extend the lives of CCP leaders to as long as 150 years. For safety here, we'll call it Project A. In 2019, Beijing's 301 military hospital even ran a public advertisement on WeChat, openly promoting Project A. The ad triggered a firestorm online, and within a single day, authorities deleted it and labeled it a rumor. But now, the leaked conversation has effectively confirmed it, straight from the mouths of world's top leaders. What had been dismissed as rumor is suddenly exposed as fact. Let's look at that ad. Here's the full version that was pulled offline back in 2019. Since the video itself is in Chinese, let me highlight the most important details. 1. Special healthcare for CCP leaders has been in place for more than 60 years. This ad aired in 2019, which means the program began not long after the party first seized power. 2. The ad claimed remarkable results. It compared the lifespans of CCP leaders with those of American and British leaders, boasting that the party elite lived on average to 88 years, far higher than their Western counterparts. 3. Project A was described as having 3 sub-programs, one of which was the 150-year longevity project. But what about the other 2? Surviving online archives reveal that Project A was launched in 2005, involving the 301 Military Hospital, the Academy of Military Medical Sciences, and numerous other research institutions. It brought together 7 senior medical experts serving the top leaders, 30 elite physicians specializing in health management, and over 170 consulting specialists. They set up divisions for cancer prevention, chronic disease control, anti-aging, and even sexual function maintenance, equipped with cutting-edge molecular diagnostic labs and medical technology imported from abroad. Alongside the infamous 150-year longevity project, the other 2 sub-programs were the Health Promotion Project and the Youth Restoration Project. But here's the detail that is most revealing and most disturbing. The ad listed 6 major areas of focus under the Project A. Number 5 was called Organ Function Regeneration. Now think about that phrase carefully. What does it really mean? If an organ has already failed or been destroyed, how can it regenerate? Clearly, this wasn't talking about miracle medicine. It was talking about on-demand special operations. A sanitized euphemism meant to hide something terrifying. It has long been known that China's top leaders enjoy medical privileges far beyond the reach of ordinary citizens. Since the Mao Zedong era, they have consistently outlived the average Chinese by decades. Mao himself lived to 83. Zhu De reached 90. At a time when China's average life expectancy was barely 65, they stood out like giants among mortals. Fast forward to today, and the gap is even wider. Nearly every member of the CCP elite seems destined for longevity. Deng Xiaoping lived to 93. Wan Li, 99. Former Vice Chairman Wang Dongxing reached 100. The list goes on. But in 2018, the average life expectancy for ordinary Chinese was just 76. Of course, superior healthcare and access to cutting-edge treatments can add years to anyone's life. But for CCP leaders to routinely live decades longer than not just ordinary Chinese, but also their Western counterparts, leaders with access to the world's best medical technology, this defies explanation, unless there's something more. And increasingly, evidence points to one answer: special operations. Stephen Mosher, president of the Population Research Institute and a leading China expert, has written about this in the New York Post. In an interview with American thought leaders, he explained how as early as the 1960s, CCP elites used transfusions of young people's blood to prolong their lives. By the 1980s, they had shifted to special operations. And from the very beginning, the purpose was clear: to secure fresh supplies that would keep party leaders alive. For over 2 decades, this industrial-scale practice has been repeatedly exposed on the international stage. After 1999, when Beijing launched its brutal suppression of a major faith-based group, the number of special operations surged like a mushroom cloud. Project A's own data shows the results. Around the year 2000, CCP leaders lived on average just 2 or 3 years longer than US leaders. By 2010, that gap had exploded. Party leaders were outliving their American counterparts by more than 10 years. Exiled businessman Guo Wengui revealed another secret. Many senior officials who should have died of cancer survived because they had access to special operations that kept them alive. So let me put this to you, my friends. Do you really believe the CCP has found some clean, scientific, civilized way to restore youth to a circle of aging men? Or is something far darker at play? So what else lies hidden inside Project A? How vast is this underground chain? And what evidence still exists to show just how far it goes? These are the questions I'll keep digging into. This will not be a one-off report. It will be a series, because the story is too big, too dark, and too important to ignore. But here's the reality. Because of Beijing's overseas censorship machine, almost every video exposing the Beijing's deepest secrets gets throttled or suppressed on this very platform. You've probably noticed it yourself. Views stall, shares disappear, recommendations vanish. That's why I'm preparing something new. A members-only site, where I can bring you the full story. No cuts, no filters, no censorship, just the truth as it is. If you want to support this effort, type the letter K in the comments below. That simple gesture tells me you're with me, that you want this work to continue. And I promise you, I will keep going. I will keep exposing what the regime doesn't want the world to know. Together, we'll make sure the truth cannot be buried. Get the real story behind the CCP's shifting power games and see where US-China relations are headed next. Support the vision of a new China without communism. Subscribe now and join us in bringing the truth to light.